Welcome back to the channel. I'm Denise Brady, and y'all need to hear from a therapist perspective about this whole Papoose and Remy situation because divorce will bring out the worst of people. And though I don't like using this diagnosis a lot, okay, but I'm seeing some narcissistic traits. So we're going to get into it right about now from a therapist perspective. Make sure y'all tap in, okay? Leave me some love, like, and subscribe. Now, the thing about going through a divorce is that you never know who a person truly is until it's time to leave them. And this whole situation has so many different layers. The myth of ride or die, loyalty in relationships. And so loyalty is admirable, but unconditional loyalty without boundaries can lead to self abandonment. Okay. Now we remember Remy and Papoose. We all know who they are. If you haven't been following, Google is your friend. I'm not going to go over the whole history of everything, but I think it says a lot about a person that from a man to stand by somebody for a significant amount of time while they're in prison, and then when they get out, still stand by them. I really think nowadays loyalty is dead. Okay. Many people romanticize ride or die narratives, but healthy love includes accountability, mutual respect, and growth, not just enduring through hardship. And I don't really know if we really saw the authentic sides of their relationship. We saw the hardships and we saw the highlights on Instagram of what was really happening behind the closed doors. Apparently, cheating. Now, I have always said, watching all these Love After Lockup shows, that people should not leave prison, jail, into a marriage, into a relationship. You need time to figure who you are post incarceration. Not only that, mentally, all the things that you have experienced, dealt with, seen, endured while you were in prison. But so many people are like, I need to be attached to somebody, are the people who were on the outside holding you down, um, putting money on your books, calling you, calling cards, doing them three-way phone calls, are like, oh, I've been over here waiting for you. You gonna come home with me and I'm ready to get married. How many of y'all have seen all them episodes of Love After Lockup where essentially that's what happens? But when it comes to Papoose and Remy, they were kind of like the Bonnie and Clyde, that to me, very toxic saying of ride or die. He stood by her. But there have been some major life transitions post incarceration that I don't think they really took time for. And there has been a shift in power dynamics. The patriarchy says that men should be in one place and women should be in the other. But what happens when those roles are not exactly the way society says? One partner reintegrates into society, okay, especially in public roles. There was so much pressure, I think, on Remy to stay with Papoose, so much pressure, I think, on Papoose to stay with Remy, and then to continue what they started. And also, you've been seeing this woman driving back and forth to prison, visiting her, and all these things. Um, that I think that the expectations and emotional needs got left in the dust, okay, which created resentment, loss of connection, unmet needs. And in relationships, you're gonna have some highs, you're gonna have some lows, but then you add on prison. Hey, you add on prison. Now, Papoose says that Remy cheated on him multiple times and he still stayed. Okay. Now, a lot of times y'all be telling women, how come you keep staying when he keep cheating? But I don't hear nobody saying, how come he kept saying when she kept cheating? Okay. Now, all across social media these last couple of days, they've been going back and forth. Now, he says, I wouldn't even entertain this, but the fact that you mentioned my children, I'm not letting that ride. Since the whole situation happened, everybody I know said nothing. The only time I said something was the last time when she tried to clout chase with the whole fake thing she tried to put on Instagram before. Ever since this transpired, I never opened my mouth. Never said nothing because that's not my style. And also, I would never disrespect her. Now, you also add in Miss Clarissa Shields, and the Breakfast Club is messy. Okay? The Breakfast Club is messy. I think there's just so many different power dynamics between these women Remy being the old thing, kind of current thing, because he just recently filed for divorce. Clarissa trying to hold her spot, okay? Trying to come in and say, I'm the new thing, I'm the best thing that he ever had. And where's the love anywhere? But everyone is trying to have the last say, but it's hard to have the last say in the world of social media with phones in your hand, access to technology. I feel like we are living in times where shame and privacy really don't exist anymore. Okay? Can we bring back shame? Can we bring back privacy? But instead, oh no, we're going to get on Instagram. Okay? We're going to get on Instagram. Now, he's saying initially it transpired in 2022 when she started dating that lane. Okay? And so Remy to me made it seem like that underground rapper that she was managing, but really low key sleeping with, was trying to blackmail her. That he was just all about trying to find clout off her name. That she really wasn't messing with him, but all along, she really was. Okay, she had Papoose looking like a fool in front of the world, trying to support her, trying to say this man was making up lies, only for her to really be sleeping with him. And that wasn't the first time; it wasn't the second time. Not only that, to be sleeping with women too in their bed together. Now, some people might feel like he cheated from the beginning. That why she was locked down. Remy says that he was cheating, and let's pull up her little what she had what he was saying too. Falsifying fake, obviously edited text pictures are one sided. Okay, no responses at all. Where's the other person? Claiming that from a decade ago is even more pathetic. It's almost to me like once Clarissa came out and they were being more open about her Clarissa's relationship with Papoose, to me that is when Remy came out. Okay, but if you're so happy, why are you kind of worried about what your ex-husband, current husband? Yeah, and y'all need to make up your minds when y'all decide to get a divorce. Are we referring to your husbands as the ex, the current husband? Because we be confused just as much as at times you are confused, okay? But I think that it feels like she doesn't like that he's moved on. She doesn't like that he is able to have someone new. And that's where betrayal and public humiliation comes into place. All these allegations of cheating, disrespect in public places, the whole we just talked about the whole easy from the block, amplifying the betrayal because then it became public. Then I feel like at times maybe, and of course, Papooses' ego was hurt. And the betrayal becomes a public spectacle where everybody named mama got something to say. And it can complicate healing. There's just not emotional pain, but public scrutiny, identity shame, social pressure to pick a side, to prove that the other person is wrong. And it becomes all about not really who's right or wrong, but what can I prove? What can I prove? Really, what can I prove? Now let me bring up this let me share this again. But yeah, it just feels like when you are divorcing someone and there's so much love left, lost, that it really becomes about proving who really created the divorce, who really was the problem, and all the money, all the wedding, all that stuff gets forgotten about because now you're in a war. And I don't know if you're exactly in a war with your partner or with yourself. Maybe about the decisions you made. Maybe you're at a war with proving a point. But oftentimes when people start going through divorces, is this the person I married? Okay. And sometimes I kind of feel like watching the way Remy is moving, that she low key comes off a little narcissistic. It's all about Remy. Because why would you leave? And y'all can say for many reasons. But did she leave him and go a step up or go a step below? And notice the positions of both these men mentally, um, and how someone who might have some narcissistic traits can come in and overpower. Because really, what does, this battle rapper really have to offer her? You know, I and I say that, but at the same time, I know that there are more things in life than just money, opportunities, and relationships. Sometimes it's all about love, but I just don't know. Easy from the block. I just don't know why. What is it about this person that says, I'm going to leave everything? Or could it have been just an out? I've been unhappy. You giving me attention that maybe I feel like I wasn't getting at home. That now this is somebody that I can latch on to. Similar to Remy saying that, Papoose is on the come up and is only with Clarissa for a come up. Okay. Because both these women are very different. And I'm wondering, at what point do you put down the phone? Okay. At what point do you put down the phone? Now let's look at what Papoose had to say. Let me pull it up. Let's look at this.
Normally, I wouldn't even entertain this, but the fact that you mentioned my children, I'm not letting that ride. Since this whole situation happened, everybody know I never said nothing. The only time I said something was the last time when she tried to clout chase with the whole fake thing she tried to put on Instagram before. But ever since this transpired, I never opened my mouth, never said nothing because that's not my style. And also, I would never want to disrespect her. You know what I mean? Actions speak way louder than words. Initially, when it transpired, which was 2022, when she started dealing with the lane. But that wasn't the first time I caught her cheating. I've caught her cheating numerous times since she's been home. With the lane, the reason, but hold on, let's get to the point. We're gonna get to the lane later. You had the audacity to mention my child, and you had the audacity to mention me not seeing my daughter, when ever since I left, she has not allowed me to see my daughter. She's been straight miserable. I'm gonna say it again. All men out there who ever been through this type of situation, you know how it gets when you're dealing with a miserable individual. She did not allow me to see my daughter since this first transpired at the end of last year.
Now, why is it though that when women leave men, the child becomes a pawn? A way to kind of pull a power move. Oh, I know how to get you through your kids, not letting you see them. Now, the hurt I have inside of myself, am I going to address the hurt or am I going to address it by get my lick back? Okay. Because it feels like it's about getting my lick back. And why is that necessary? Why do y'all think that children become pawns? Now let's talk about the toxicity of some of y'all on the internet. Okay, let me pull it up. Because y'all love a toxic relationship. Papoose and Remy are still in love. She just want him to get a job. And he wants her to stop cheating. Now, here comes the toxic, masculinity, the emasculation of a man. He may not have a 9-to-5 job, but he works and brings in money. Now, he was praised for being a good Black man, offering a counter narrative to harmful stereotypes. But what happened to that? Okay. I feel like there's often an unharmed burden placed on men, especially Black men, to prove love through sacrifice, and on women to prove strength through endurance. But the world now has turned on him. And the relationship has ended, so now someone appears to have failed. He's failing her. He was failing her. That's why she left. And the public is so disproportionately critical, revealing once again toxic gender expectations. Okay? No matter how much you love a man, when he doesn't want to take care of a household or be responsible, it's a turnoff. And look at all the likes. Now, to me, he's an entrepreneur, like myself, a 1099. We don't work 9 to 5, so our money looks different. Our money goes up and down based off of the economy and business coming in. But people are so quick to say, oh, he broke, that's why. And it's just like, people do not want to hold women accountable. People are so focused on holding men accountable that sometimes women are wrong. Shorty was sneaking out the house, going to hang out with battle rap scene. Like she was 16 again. You gotta think, she was locked up for how long? I think there was just, like I said, so much public scrutiny and pressure to be married that she should have really, to me, took a break. Been free, do her own thing. Here it is. I feel sorry for women in the comments, convinced that he still loves her and vice versa. This is not what love looks like. This is not what love looks like. These are two people who no longer love each other and trust each other. And airing out each other's business is out of anger. Love does not hurt like this. It doesn't. But y'all so used to toxic relationships, y'all think this is what love is, and they should just get back together. You want children to be raised in this household together. This is what we're seeing in public. I can only imagine for what the last year or two, the fallout of the household behind closed doors in the house. Somebody said, where Mona Scott at? Oh my God, y'all. But this is not real love. Divorce to me is the end of a shared story, identity, and future. There's so much grief layered with confusion. Do I stay? Do I go? Especially when the public has brought into the narrative of forever love. Okay? You can divorce somebody and move on. We have to erase the scarlet letter of D, divorce, because it keeps people suffering in silence. You suffering in silence while publicly you smiling for people when you unhappy. It's a reminder that healing must include letting go of illusions, both individually and collectively. Deal with the grief off the internet, behind closed doors. Okay? But when you are going through a divorce, unfortunately, that's when you see who a person really is. And you're like, did I marry this person? What happened? How did we get here? Should I stay? Do I still love him? What about my kids? What is it like to start all over? Is it easier and best for my kids just to stay? And maybe I'll just stay until they turn 18 and they out the house? Because I know it's a lot of people watching this or who have been in those situations where it's like, I'm not happy, but my kids need a stable home, a 2-parent home. And I don't want to take my kids away from their father. So I'm just going to stay and suck it up, be unhappy as a sacrifice to my children, when really your kids see it, they feel it. The energy of the house fills up the room. That mom is unhappy, that y'all fighting again. The police are getting called again. Those are things to me not worth my kids growing up and having to go to therapy because of all the things that they experience in our household, the fighting, the arguing, the pawning me off as a child between two households, me trying to navigate my mama's side, my daddy's side, me trying to be my mama's therapist because my daddy going off, my daddy in them streets again. Those are things we don't talk about. A lot of women and men are sleeping next to the enemy, are sleeping next to a narcissist. But they've been broken down so much, they don't have the strength to leave. Are they fearful of leaving? So they pretend that everything is okay. But in this era of social media, will people ever heal in silence? Divorce in silence? Or will the clicks, the money, I have a phone, so I have something to say, be the focal point? Okay? But I want to know you guys' thoughts on divorcing in public, Papoose and Remy. Some of y'all are in the same situation, just not as publicized. And do you ever think that divorce, the stigma of divorce, will be erased and people can divorce and be happy, genuinely happy, and move on? We need more instances of seeing women and men leave relationships and be happy to show that there is life after divorce. My life is not over. My kids can be happy and have a happy parent. But let me know your thoughts because, of course, I want to hear from y'all. What do y'all think? Have you gone through a divorce? Are you dealing with grief and all the loss associated with divorce? Have you been thinking about, it's almost summertime, I want to be outside, so let me come up with the funds to file them papers and move on with my life? Okay? But I'm Denise Brady. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. Tap in, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.